to be guiding you through the Dance of the Clowns excerpt for the Sinfonia Orchestra. This is the fourth movement of Rimsky-Korsakov's Snow Maiden Suite. Before you start working on this excerpt, I recommend you find a recording and listen through it. It's in the fourth movement, and it's only about a minute into the piece, so it's very easy to find. Make sure you have your music with you so you can follow along in your part. Let's look at the first half of this excerpt first. You have a forte dynamic here, and you have accents throughout. So you want to make sure those accents come across. A good way to work on those accents is using air attacks. So you play those notes slowly and with no tongue at all, like this. Just like that. And then once you can do that with your air at the very beginning of the note, you can add the tongue in. In the second half of this excerpt, you'll notice that it is a piano dynamic. Now, this is quite the opposite from the first half of the excerpt, so make sure you have a forte dynamic and then you have a piano dynamic. The second half of the excerpt is the melody line. It is in unison with the clarinet and the violins, so don't feel like you have to play as small as you possibly can in this piano. This is a solo piano, so play at a comfortable but gentle dynamic. One of the obvious challenges of the second half of this excerpt is that it is in the upper register of the horn. So the most important thing here is after you finish playing the first half, make sure you can hear that G before you play it. If you can't hear it, you're definitely not going to play it. There is also a high A in this excerpt, so if you need to work on that high A, I recommend breaking it down into smaller pieces to work on. So don't try to just play through the whole excerpt over and over, missing notes. Break it down. So if you want to work on that high A, start with that bar. And just play that much. You can even just play F to A, F to A, E, F, A. Make sure you're just adding one note at a time or one bar at a time. Wherever there's a problem, that is the area you want to address. And just that. Don't try to play more than what you're working on. Another trap that a lot of people fall into is not playing the written articulations. So there are a lot of slurs and there are a couple articulations, and of course there's one accent in the second half of this excerpt, so make sure you're not just slurring through everything or tonguing whatever you want. Make sure you do exactly what Rimsky-Korsakov wanted you to do. The last thing I'll say about this entire excerpt is make sure you're planning out your breaths. Both of these excerpts can probably be done in one breath. I do them in one breath each. Make sure you're filling up enough so that you can do that. If you can't get through the second half, there is one rest where you can take a quick breath, but I don't recommend it because the more breaths you take, the more likely you are to miss notes. When you first start working on this piece, make sure you're using a metronome and start out at a nice slow tempo. A good one to start with is 74. As you progress through this excerpt, you should incrementally increase your tempo. So a good medium tempo is about 100. for this piece should be between 120 and 132. I'm going to demonstrate 132.